Alright, we're back here with part 3 of my review of issue 205, and I'm here to do the side story, which is Birthright, part 1. And this sort of continues off where that little scene right here left off, where Dimitri's going to the lab and Lena Dawes going to her bunk. And Lena Dawes is just thinking to herself, that it isn't right for her to be bedding down with the troops, and that she shouldn't just be commissioner, she should be Grand Master because she's long overdue. And as she goes back and sort of remembers back in her mind about her and let me see if I can find his name. Craggett, I guess you could say, her brother, if you will. She sort of thinks back in her mind about when they were in the Twilight Zone and how Mortimer, I guess his name is here, that they talk about, I don't know who he is. Basically, she's telling her brother that that according to Mortimer, they're long overdue. And she's basically discussing the plan of how they're going to become the first joint Grand Masters of the Dark Legion. But as we find out, the weapon that I guess Craggett, I think is his name, I'm not really sure, gave Lena Dawes to use, won't only do the job, but it might also be too unstable, which in currents, which at the same time not only would help her succeed in what she's about to do to this guy here, which is Luger, but it will also put her in an injured state, which we see. Now, Craggett is there telling her she was very lucky, and that she not only managed to, she was very lucky because not only did she accomplish her mission, but she managed to survive. And then he goes on to tell her that since she was, unconscious for a while due to her injuries, that he had to step forward right away, he needed to step forward right away in leadership and become sole Grand Master, and telling her that if he was to promote her now, it would be needlessly confusing. But he says, don't worry, I insist you remain as commissioner by my side. Basically, what happens here is that Lena Dawes recalls the fact that, I think it's Craggett or something, I can't even know if it's Remington or Craggett, I think it's Craggett, basically saying that, hey, basically she's just remembering when Craggett, in a way, double-crossed her. Because not only did he know the weapon was kind of unstable, would work, but also be unstable, he knew it would give him the opportunity to become sole Grand Master. And she basically, recalls and she just remembers right there, that she never trusted him after that, not fully, and that she waited patiently for it to be her turn. And that every time someone got in her way, just when she was like within this length, if you will, of being Grand Master, it's snatched away from her. And as she's thinking this to herself, she gets called by Dimitri to go to the lab. And as we've seen in the preview, issues of preview pages of 206, we kind of have an idea of what happens. And as she's getting off her bunk and walking to the lab, she says to herself, Grandmaster of the Dark Legion is her destiny and right, and she will take it. So overall, like I said, 205 here was pretty good. Like I said, I give this main story a 9 out of 10, and the side story I give possibly an 8.5 out of 10, because I like how the fact that we find out about in the side story, I like how we find out that Lena Daw, basically was duped when she first originally thought she was going to be like a joint Grand Master. We find out she was duped, and that every time she comes close into getting what she feels she deserves, she's earned. She's basically pushed aside for someone else. But I think for many of us that have read 206 yet, not myself, but for many of you that have, you sort of have an idea of what's going to happen. But anyway, that's my review, overall review, in 3 parts. I apologize for it, because I had to do some explaining about why I didn't do this a month ago. And really that's all I have to say about 205. It's a good issue. Definitely, if you've not gotten it yet, go and get it. And again, if you want a cheap way of getting the comics, if you live in the western area, maybe even the eastern area, go with a place called Black Cat Comics, or any comic store in your area that's online, or in your vicinity, in your state, because it'll be cheaper for you in the long run. Mile High Comics, I give them credit, they got a huge supply, but it's ridiculous, if you ask me, for them to charge almost $12 altogether just for one issue to be, sent to you. But really, that's all I have to say, and I thank you for watching, and I will be back with my opinions. I guess you could say, in a way, it's sort of like my September, October, let's just say my fall opinions of the Sonic comic book franchise. Talk to you all in a little while. Peace.